Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings.
This is video number 2. Yes, for this week with video number 3 and potentially 4 on the way. So, mixed bag this video. We've got a little bit of everything, so hold on to your hats. First up, we had Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, 57th birthday. How can she be 57? She looks absolutely beautiful. Everyone absolutely loves Sophie, from the Queen to Catherine to just the general public. I think the more that we're seeing of Sophie, the more that Sophie's been elevated, the more people are like, oh yay, we love Sophie. So it's nice to see someone that we really like stand alongside Catherine. And I really think the two women together have proved that you do not have to be born a royal to actually behave in such a way that, as I said, they're more regal than some of the royals. I will obviously be covering Sophie a lot more now that she has been elevated to a senior position, obviously with the absence of Harry and Meghan. For those of you that are interested in Sophie, I did actually dedicate a whole video to her and the sort of things that she does for the royal family. Here is what the video looks like. I will definitely be ensuring that whilst I'm talking about the actual working royals, Sophie and indeed Edward will be making more of a regular appearance. And Sophie's niche, which she adds to the royal family, is anything to do with people, to do with sight, to do with blindness. She's travelled the world promoting, which means exposure to a lot of charities out there that are helping people with blindness and how it can impact people's lives. She is a massive compliment to the royal family. Now, away from Sophie's birthday, Boris Johnson is not in the Queen's good books. Yes, our Prime Minister would normally have weekly meetings with the Queen. Now, obviously, the Queen has been stepping back. She has been spending a lot of time just seeing people visiting her at Windsor rather than being out and about. But she's actually not seen Boris, I think, coming into the 6th or 7th week now. Boris is in a lot of trouble at the moment, and I'm not going to start getting into the Partygate. I'm sure most of you have seen it in the newspapers, but the main thing is that Boris, during lockdown, held a party at number 10 Downing Street, and the party was when a lot of people were not allowed to see their loved ones. One of the parties went on till 1 a.m, was held on the night of Prince Philip's funeral. On the day that the UK sat there and watched the Queen sit at the end of the pew all by herself, which is an iconic photograph for a lot of people because it represents the cruelty of some of these restrictions that were put in place. And I think as the Prime Minister of the UK, and the fact that our Queen, our sovereign, had just buried her partner, I think it was disrespectful on additional levels. So Boris, quite clearly, as well as the UK public, is definitely not in the Queen's good books. Now on to Andrew and Harry. Despite previous reports, Andrew and Harry and Meghan are to receive Platinum Jubilee Medals. These medals are to be handed out to every member of the royal family, whether they are working or not. So with people saying that Meghan is being bestowed this greatest honour, the entire royal family are going to get one of these Platinum Jubilee pins, a little medal or something that they can keep in a nice little box. And when the boys play dress up, they get to have another little medal on their uniform. It's lovely. And could you imagine if they didn't include Andrew, Meghan and Harry? The hoo-ha that would cause. So, despite previous reports, they are all getting one. Now, speaking of Andrew and Harry, there is something else that has cropped up that may not be looking that great for either one of them. Harry, who has stepped down, and Andrew have been stripped, look to both be having another role taken away from them. Personally, not a day too soon. What this role is a Counsellor of State. What this means is a Counsellor of State is normally the monarch's spouse and the next 4 people in the line of succession that are over 21 years old. They take the place of the Queen on engagements if she is unable to attend due to sickness or being abroad. It gives them the status of being ambassadors to the UK. Harry is in California, okay? And he cannot be an ambassador to the UK. He has, well, we know what Harry's done. He's shit all over Queen and country. He's trashed the royal family. He has attacked the Queen in one of the most vulnerable years of her life. He's now released a memoir on her Platinum Jubilee. Harry is not in the UK's good books, and it's got nothing to do with Meghan this time before anyone says anything to do with that bloody R word. As for Andrew, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on with Andrew at the moment, and I want to be careful that I word this correctly. Andrew is guilty until proven innocent, and it's not the way it should work. It should be innocent until proven guilty, but we have a kangaroo court system. We have trial by media. But what's happening here is this is no mere fender bender court case. What Andrew is being associated with, or rather the person he's being associated with, as I said, isn't exactly some sort of low-key minor misdemeanor where you think, oh, maybe he shouldn't be, you know, completely punished yet. Sources have said that if Andrew gets proven innocent in a court case, then he will have a lot of roles reinstated. But I'm not so sure the military really want him back. It's not so much what he did or didn't do, because at the moment there's not a lot of evidence to say either way. But the fact is, he still chose to remain friends with a monster. And that to me makes him completely exempt of being an ambassador for the UK and, more importantly, representing the Queen in any way. People will say guilt by association, and the fact is that particular monster had served time in prison for a very similar offence, and yet Andrew still picked up his friendship despite the palace telling him, don't be so stupid. So I've got no sympathy. One more story to come out to do with Harry and his Uncle Andy as well is Harry might have thrown Andrew under a bus with his latest lawsuit. In the video that I did a couple of videos ago, here's a picture, just so you know, just in case you've not watched it and you can go on and watch it afterwards. Harry is suing the Home Office because he wants to have Scotland Yard, Metropolitan Police, personal protection security when he and his family come over to the UK. You cannot hire the Metropolitan Police even if Harry is stamping his feet and holding his breath. But in Harry raising this with the Home Office, it's now made the Home Office look at the security support that Andrew gets. He's been stripped of basically everything. So he's no longer a working royal. He's no longer representing the Queen. He's basically been shunned. So why are the Home Office and Scotland Yard, why are they still protecting him? Surely, especially the fact that Andy famously is selling a £17 million Swiss chalet. I mean, God, how big a holiday house do you need? On top of other, no doubt, assets that Andrew's got, he can afford to pay for his own protection. So by Harry going, yeah, but Andrew's got it, why can't I have it? Harry might have inadvertently made them assess, well, actually, that's a good point. Andrew, sorry, we're going to take that off you as well. Let's just see if the Yorks keep defending Harry and Meghan after this is imposed. Now, while I'm speaking about the subject of royal protection, I personally do not believe that the Metropolitan Police, basically taxpayer-funded royal protection security, should be given to non-working members of the royal family. Working members of the royal family should have it when they are actually on engagements. Obviously, a lot of them live in these big estates, so they all live together, so they will be protected there. It's their home. Of course, that makes sense for them to be protected by Scotland Yard. But the lesser royals, and definitely the working royals, if Princess Anne and Sophie and Edward only have it when they're on working engagements, then everyone else can pay for theirs, with the exception of, obviously, Charles and Camilla, William and Catherine, and the children. I mean, a lot of the time when there are engagements, you're going to find that William, Catherine, Charles, Camilla, the Queen herself, is obviously going to be at the engagements. So naturally, they all fall under the same blanket. But yeah, I do think Charles wants to slim back the monarchy, and one of the biggest things that he can look at is where he can cut security. They cut security away from Beatrice and Eugenie back in 2011, so I think it should apply to a lot more of them. And then it also stops Harry from sticking out his bottom lip going, no fair. So exciting news on Prince William. Prince William is doing a little trip, a royal trip over to Dubai. On the 10th of February, William will be visiting the UAE on the 50th anniversary of the United Arab Emirates, coinciding with UK National Day, which is being held at the Expo 2020 in Dubai. Over 190 participating nations will be treated to dance and music performances, interactive experiences, flag raising ceremony, and many other activities, all to celebrate British culture. Expo 2020 are a global alliance founding partner of Prince William's Earthshot Prize regarding saving the planet initiatives by the Royal Foundation of the Duke and the Duchess of Cambridge. So I think we're going to see a lot of fantastic photographs being taken out there, and I really hope that Chris Jackson is the photographer that's going to be out there because I love his work. I told you this is going to be a real swinging back and forth sort of video. In another news report, Andrew is taking a beating yet again. His former maid has spoken out on how horrible he was, but spoke very highly of Charles and Edward and other royals that she encountered in her time working at Buckingham Palace. She spoke of the spoilt prince's behaviour and list of demands, from having to ensure that his pillows, pyjamas and duvet were all literally turned down for him to just get into bed, and removing his collection of teddy bears. He also used to demand with his teddy bears, yes, it's been reported that Andrew, we have seen these stories before that Andrew has a collection of teddy bears, but he also used to demand that the maid play hide and seek with him with his teddy bears. So if Andrew ever went out, presumably with his parents, that when he came back, he'd have to find a teddy bear. And you think, oh, okay, that's cute. On not so cute stories, Andrew reportedly also screamed for the maid to come upstairs to shut the curtains one time, and the maid said that she literally had to get dressed, ran upstairs, and he was sitting mere feet away from the curtains. So she shut the curtains, and then he screamed at her again because there was a gap up the top. She also said that he laughed when his dog attacked her. Apparently she put on the hoover, and like some dogs, it bit her to the point it really hurt her, and Andrew laughed about it. The dog was then banished from Buckingham Palace. Poor doggy. Now, for a maid to come out with a story like this, you think, well, lots of people look after spoilt children. But as it turned out, after reading a lot of this, Andrew was 36 and had just moved home after divorcing Fergie. Yes, all of those stories from hide and seek with the teddy bears and turning down his bed and laying out his pyjamas were for when he was a grown man, pretty much the same age as Harry. I think the apple doesn't fall too far from that side of the family. Obviously, I don't know if this is true, and I think it's kind of petty with a lot of the stuff that Andrew's being accused of at the moment to come out with this. But she felt the need to speak out because obviously there's lots of bullying allegations that are going on. Meghan, for one, that investigation is definitely coming to a head this year. So the fact that she felt strong enough about this, though, to complain, of his treatment of her and speak out against, she would have signed an NDA, some sort of special legal Secrets Act. So, she has broken it. Whether Andrew wishes to take her to court over it and how much of it is true, we obviously don't know. But I do think this should make Meghan sweat a little bit, because if a maid is willing to break her contract, and there might be other members of staff that are going to see how this pans out, because no one should be protected, no matter who your employer is, no matter whether they are members of the royal family, whether it's the Queen herself. No one should ever be bullied or terrorised in a place of employment, and they can't complain about it because they've signed a non-disclosure agreement. So as I said, I think Meghan should be watching this quite closely, because if nothing happens to this woman, maybe some more members of staff won't be so frightened about breaking them themselves. And in completely unrelated news, we have Prince William give an MBE to Derek Evans. If you don't know who Derek Evans is, he was part of my childhood and very much, very, very big in the 90s. He was known as Mr. Motivator. If you don't know who he is, I've got a little clip for you here.
Hey, all right, we're in section 3. You guys have done so well. You should be proud of yourself. Just do your thing. Let's use the hands. Come on, let's go up. Ha! Let's go. Come on, do it. All right, listen. I've had a lot of fun with you guys. Right, we're doing really well here. Come on, work it. Kick it up and down. Good. Here we go. 4 more. They're going out for the 3rd time today. Come on. Come on, let's go.
Mr. Motivator still does do little segments here and there, and yes, he still wears those most outrageous outfits ever known to mankind, and he still rocks it. In joint engagements for Catherine and William, they visited the Foundling Museum, which was previously known as the Foundling Hospital, which was opened in 1739. It was the first children's charity. It was opened for children that were basically abandoned or at the risk of being abandoned, somewhat, I guess, more of an orphanage. Whilst children are no longer residents, it's still helping to transform the lives of young people through working with various charities helping vulnerable children. With William's support of helping the homeless and Catherine's initiative supporting mental health of children, it was the perfect joint engagement. The next day, Catherine and William were also seen doing a tour of East Lancashire. They went on a visit to Burnley, where they went to a church centre set up by a pastor, Mick Fleming. He was a former gun-toting drug dealer who found God and understands how easily people can fall through the cracks, even with social healthcare systems. The church centre helps people struggling with poverty, homelessness and various other problems that can basically come from living under those circumstances. On their visit, Catherine and William met 11-year-old Deacon Glover. Deacon sadly lost his mother last year to a drugs overdose, and he was sitting there with his grandmother. Deacon spoke about the importance of the centre and what it's given him, the support it's enabled him to have, and William and Catherine also spoke to him about do his friends, at school understand what he's going through and what he's been through. They had a bit of a personal chat for a while, and William, well, I'm going to play you this clip.
Do your friends understand what you've gone through and things like that? Yeah.
Do you feel you can talk about your mum?
Yeah.
It's difficult. But it gets easier, I promise you. It's easier.
Yeah.
Yep, set me off, made me cry, absolutely made me cry. I'm such a sap with stuff like this. But you could just see William's face, with his jaw tightening up and stuff, but when he still talks about his mother, especially to a child, to have that that moment where you're talking to a child that went through what you went through. See, look, now I'm welling up, and Catherine, she looks at William and it just, got me going. On a cuter and happier moment, Catherine fell in love with a little guest that was there, a little baby girl called Anastasia Barry.
Go on as well.
Where are your boots from, man? Oh, look at you, look at you.
Catherine is just such a natural with babies. I reckon it gives William that flicker, that little bit of fear of God, like, she's got that twinkle in her eye again. No, we've got 3. I'd be pretty surprised if we ever heard of a baby number 4, especially how poorly Catherine gets. But I just thought it was a really, really lovely moment, and it was just nice to see Catherine and William making people laugh and chuckle. They just, as I've always said, they just seem to make, no matter where they go, any environment, they relax people, they have a laugh, they interact with each other, they just flow, as it were. Also on the same day, which I meant to say was the 22nd of January, they went and visited Clitheroe Community Hospital, as they are both patrons on the NHS charities together. They chatted with nurses and GPs and other health workers to gain a better understanding of how they've all coped throughout the pandemic. Catherine and William, during their time at the Clitheroe Community Hospital, met the newest member of staff, Alfie the Cockapoo. But they were completely in love with the puppy. Everyone loves a puppy, and Alfie was particularly adorable. Alfie actually joined 6-year-old Jasper. They are part of being a therapy dog, which quite a few places are bringing in. I think it's a lovely idea. People that, I don't know, are lonely or stuck in hospital or stressed, and animals do just tend to have a calming presence. That's providing, obviously, that you're not allergic to them or you're scared of them. Catherine and William, both absolute dog lovers. They lost their dog Lupo, I think it was last year, might have been the year before. They have now obviously got new puppies though, courtesy of Catherine's brother James Middleton, who seems to be basically building up his own adorable dog army. So with Catherine having a big old cuddle and a smooch, it was then William's turn. And all I've got to say is, that's one lucky puppy. So that's it for this video, Princess and the Puppies. The next video coming out is, has Charles called Harry's bluff? So I'll be back with you very soon. Take care for now, guys. Bye.
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typists, you will be blocked, so save your fingers for time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.